We go there full of confidence, one of the best teams in the league. If we don't get all 3 points, I'll be very disappointed.
Also, sorry, one other thing. That fourth spot that I spoke about, I know we're second right now, but that fourth spot, they're very much in the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd quite have the minerals yet, but if they were to beat us at the weekend, you watch that fourth spot all of a sudden become a bit more of a conversation.
CRACKLE, you mentioned the 1967 FA Cup final, which Jason obviously knew the score. That game is the reason I'm a Chelsea fan. My dad went to that game and his family were very heavily involved in cricket. So he was went to an FA Cup final, I don't know how, and said he was going to support whichever team lost. And Spurs beat Chelsea that day.
You would not
I wouldn't be sat here.
You'd be a Spurs fan.
Oh, God, I'd be looking ahead, scared about playing Chelsea. Oh, God, it actually gives me shivers thinking about that. I could be sat here.
Live the Spurs
Live
fan.
the Spurs fan.
All right, move on, Liv. Move on.
No, yeah. But with that game, I think they don't enjoy playing us, but we have to make sure, Jace, that we go there knowing the best that they can offer. But also, this is coming from a Spurs player, by the way, an ex-Spurs player right here.
Shush. Quiet, shush.
All of that.
Shush, all mistakes. Go on. Go on.
How do you look back on your time as a Spurs player, Jace?
Well, it was terrible, Liv. I mean, I don't really want to talk. Move on, please. Let's talk about it.
Do you have any, you don't even care, you're just like, no.
No, I've got no love for Spurs at all.
No, zero.
I dislike Spurs as much now as I did before I joined them. So,
but was that difficult for you?
It was a very odd scenario, Liv, because I just signed a 4.5-year contract in the November, and by the time March came round, Chelsea accepted a bid, and I had a phone call from Ian Porterfield saying to me, "We've accepted a bid, and Terry Venables is going to phone you this afternoon." It was very different back then because if the club wanted you gone, you went. Yeah. I mean, look, we've just seen what's happened with Mason Mount. We've just seen what's happened with Conor Gallagher. And now the players got far more power. If the club want you out, they want you out. And they wanted the money more than me. Chelsea made their choices. They made their decisions. And unfortunately, I had no choice but to make mine. But look, it's part of my life. It happened. But, you're a lifelong Chelsea fan. And, I'm very lucky now. I went away, but I've come back.
You've come back and you're here to stay.
When you were playing against Spurs, did you feel it back then, when you just...
That was for Chelsea?
No, for Chelsea. When you played against Spurs, did you feel that, nastiness, the players were more revved up for it because it was a big game?
Even in the youth team.
Oh, really?
It was ingrained in you in the youth team, what this game meant. But as a Chelsea fan, I didn't need to be told because it was very much there, that like I said, it'll crackle. And there's certain games, and this is why I love football, because there's certain games at certain stadiums where you're at something big. I know that Brentford are a West London rival. Brentford under the lights or Spurs under the lights?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, you can't compare the two. There is nothing compared. And whoever's going to be at the stadium at the weekend, Chelsea fans, right, they'll be in, that will be like a proper battle. Proper battle.
It always is. I'm actually so sad I'm not going to be there as well. I'm sadly not in the country. If I was in the country, I would be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I remember being at the game that when Lampard was... That, I think, is one of my... Not all-time favourite games. When Lampard was the manager, I was actually working, so I wasn't even in the away end, and I could see the away end when William curled one in, and I was trying. So they don't put me on Chelsea games because they don't want me to celebrate, so I had to sit there. But I could just see the away end.
Who's the referee that day?
Oh, yeah.
Was it Anthony Taylor?
Yeah. Who is also, coincidentally, the referee on Sunday. Also, do you know what I saw, which was very funny? Obviously Mark Cucurella, arguably the best left-back in the Premier League this season.
Brilliant.
Got his hair pulled again because people just seem to think that that's an okay thing to do.
Keep growing your hair.
Jack Stevens obviously got sent off in the game yesterday, but obviously it took us back to Romero doing it against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Do you know what I found hilarious? Was that Mike Dean was on Sky Sports News going, he had his hair pulled against someone. I didn't do the game. Yeah. I think you were the VAR.
Yeah,
VAR. I think you were the VAR for that decided not to send Romero off, and that led to Spurs' equaliser.
We can't let that get in our heads, though. He's the man. He's a referee for Sunday, and I know all Chelsea fans look at it with a side eye when he was allocated the game.
Don't let him.
Don't even let him be a factor. Go and get an early goal and destroy them.
But it's as Chelsea fans will know, when you hear Anthony Taylor's referee and Spurs away, you go, why? Why?
Yeah.
It always just feels like you're already 1-0 down.
Yeah.
Why?
It's just...
There's plenty of refs
I was going to say, that's possibly the most controversial appointment you could have... And, this not even Anthony Taylor, but this Spurs battle, you know, it's got bigger because of Battle of the Bridge and certain games where certain players didn't get sent off and certain players where decisions were made. Like you say, Quaker, we can't let that affect us, but it's still a little bit frustrating, isn't it?
It is. But the thing is that there is, I wouldn't say there's a gulf because they're also challenging for top 4 place like we are. But when I look at Spurs, and granted, that 4-0 win against City is probably their greatest result in Premier League history, but we're better than them. We just got better footballers, we're playing better, we're in better form. So there's no reason why there should be any external factors that should stop us getting 3 points there. And if we do go and lay down a marker, again, I'm obsessed with kickoff times. 4:30 on a Sunday, all eyes on me. Under the lights. It's important because that's the final game. I know there might be a Monday Night Football, but that's the final game of the weekend where everybody's watching. If you can go and lay down a marker, then people will start to take us seriously.
Like we say, Enzo Maresca has got some big decisions to make ahead of this game as well. Moises Caicedo could play it right back again. Would you be happy with that decision?
Well, our best performance this season was against Villa last weekend. I thought we were outstanding. Villa, they're off colour. There's a good time to play a team and a bad time. Good time to play Villa, bad time to play Chelsea. If we can move into that game against Spurs, and if Caicedo starts at right back, it would not surprise me because what you get the luxury of having Lavia, Enzo, who's been brilliant, by the way, recently, and Caicedo in the same team. I can't square that circle if you put Gusto at right back.
And Enzo, we've spoken about Enzo Fernandez trying to get back into the team. Well, he's got himself back into the team, and he has been performing in the way that I think Chelsea fans hoped he would when he came in. And is he undroppable?
Last 4 games, Arsenal, Leicester, Villa, Southampton. He's got 3 assists and 2 goals. 5 goal contributions in 4 games. He has turned his season around. We all remember what was going on in the summer, the off-the-field issues he's had this year. But the fact that he's come back around, he's now in the starting 11, and now, I wouldn't say undroppable because we don't know what Maresca's going to do, but he's very, very important to what we do going forward. He's got the assist for Disasi against Southampton, the corner that he whipped in. He's just been a different player. And this, all of a sudden, when players start to perform and start to deliver, you don't talk about the price tag.
Yeah.
You don't talk about the price tag, you talk about the performances. And for Enzo Fernandez, this season, it's important that we talk about performances rather than anything else. So I agree with Jace. On the weekend against Spurs, if we can manage to get Enzo, Caicedo and Lavia in our starting 11, we should do that.
The only way you can do it is if Caicedo plays right back. I can't pick
and that's up against Son, if Solanke...
And Johnson as well, because the pace out wide. Timo Werner, all right, that pace out there. So yes, but you know what? Whatever Maresca does right now, he's getting a lot of the big decisions right. In fact, the vast majority.
Yeah, and you spoke about Enzo's assist. Obviously, he's been getting goals from open play, assists from open play, but obviously against Southampton, it came from a corner. Now, Bernardo Cueva came in from Brentford in the summer. He's been working on our set pieces. Hit the woodwork twice. I mean, we should have scored from a corner. Yesterday, we should have scored more from set pieces, but he will be very happy with that. And when you look at Arsenal, set piece FC, you need, they are such a vital part of the game. If we can be more of a threat from set pieces, that just adds another element.
Before Arsenal started doing what they're doing this season and last season as well, the best set-piece teams I remember in the Premier League were those Chelsea teams that had the John Terrys, the Didier Drogbas, some of the teams that had Gary Cahills, where we would attack corners, we'd attack set-pieces, and we'd score a lot of goals from them because we were physically more domineering than anybody else. And defensively, we were really good from it. We've kind of gone away from that identity a little bit over the last 3 or 4 seasons, but maybe if we can start to find that, you get it's a freebie, basically. If you get a goal from a corner, it feels like a freebie. So the fact that we scored from a corner last night against Southampton, it bodes well, but I want to see more of that because if you can get those set-piece goals and you've got something to defend, then it gives you more of an advantage in the game.